We are finally back for another episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where I run down all the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past 7 days. As you can see, I'm not even remotely in my usual location. I've been on the road for a little bit, over a week, 2 weeks now. We just went to the NACS show last week, and that's pretty much what this entire episode is going to be about. I'm recording this on Tuesday or Thursday. But my internet is made of a potato right now, so it might not go up until maybe Friday, Saturday, even next week. Might even run on to the one after this. I'm going to hopefully get it up at all costs, but I'm doing it nonetheless, and we're going to get it in as easy, as efficiently as possible. And I'm going to get right into it. I think I mentioned about NACS, the NACS show, in the previous episode. It's basically a convention dedicated to everything and anything under the sun when it comes to a convenience store. Literally, if you go here, you will find, source, be able to purchase everything you could need and you could ever want to run your own convenience store. And it stretches. There were car washes there were gas pumps, there was like finance things, there was chicken wings, there was everything you could ever remember seeing at a convenience store was literally there. And so we were in full force. We decided to make it out there for the first time ever, and it did not disappoint. It was one hell of a show. It had more new products than I expected. So the product range, we were specifically there for the usual stuff we share on Stack: supplements, protein snacks, healthy foods, and energy drinks. And NACS is incredibly known for the energy drinks. Brands tend to bring things at launch 3 or 4 months later, and that was exactly what we got. We were there, we were sharing everything we could on the side pretty much day of, and if we run out of time, we just shared it the next day. I think we even shared some stuff on Saturday, which was when NACS was done and gone. I'm going to run over basically the top ones shared on this week. There were other things that happened during that week on our site that we highlighted, but it all revolved around the energy drinks that week. It was ridiculously fast paced. It was really cool seeing what everyone bought, and we're going to get straight into it. So first up, there was news from C4. So C4 has done authentic collaborations in the past. They teamed up with Skittles, did an authentic Skittles flavor based on what I believe was meant to be a handful of Skittles. And they did that for their C4 energy drink. They also did the Starburst one, which I think there might have been 4 different flavors, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, each of them based on a specific Starburst style or flavor of Starburst candy. And so at NACS, they bought another authentic collaboration specifically for their C4 energy drink. And this was alongside, so they had their WWE ones there as well, a few other things, but it was this was the thing that stole the show, was their Popsicle. So they have teamed up with the legendary company simply called Popsicle, and they've been around for, I think it was like 120 years or something like that, something wild. It's the original company, and so C4 has teamed up with them to create 3 flavors, 3 authentic flavors, each of them based on a Popsicle from the Popsicle family. There was Hawaiian pineapple, cherry, I think, cherry something, could be wrong on the exact name of the flavor, and then the other one was grape, and they were all pretty damn good. In all fairness, they were all very, very, very good. I never had a problem with any of the C4 drinks. They're all pretty good. The C4 Ultimate, the C4 Energy, even the C4 Smart Energy, their all taste is on point. That's one of the things C4 has been known for in the world of in the world of supplements, and then it's just brought that into energy drinks and beverages and stuff. And they nailed this. Like, the flavors are very much there, so the cherry, the grape, and the pineapple, but they do have that popsicle. If you have something in a popsicle format, generally it's the popsicle, just the style of a popsicle that brings this out. So you get a little bit of sweetness, a little bit extra, I guess, iciness if you get like a cold sweetness. And so that seemed to be very much portrayed in all of these flavors. There was a very nice icy grape, a very nice icy cherry, and then the Hawaiian. The Hawaiian was my favorite. Coincidentally, I prefer, I don't like cherry all that much, but I rank them pineapple, cherry, grape. they nailed that cherry, and for someone who doesn't generally gravitate towards cherry, it was quite impressive. So yeah, these are all that was rolling out, I believe, at the end of this year or within the next few months. And everything that we mentioned on this podcast, we wrap up stories from the past 7 days. Those NACS products, a lot of them are slated for 2024. There are a couple that were planned for, I think, within the last few months of this year, but majority of them. And if you go on the site and look them all up, we do highlight each of them. We asked some of the guys at the stands, specifically the Monster ones, which ones were rolling out, or at least when, because theirs was a nice split. They had like 2023 and then, January 24, then February 24 products. So it's very important because that's generally the question you get. In fact, when we shared a lot of the Monster ones, that was one of the bigger ones. So next up, we're going to shoot to a lot of these linked back around to Monster. So I'm going to do a big Monster beverage roundup to finish out this episode. But the next one we're going to go to is Rockstar. So Rockstar bought a beverage called Rockstar Focus to the show. Again, I don't know if this one's coming out. It's not out now. I believe it'll be within the next few months, early 2024. So they did Rockstar Focus, which is, you can kind of gather what it's all about in the name. Rockstar Focus is very much an energy drink with a dab of focus. Very similar to C4 Smart Energy, not in the sense of formula, because as we know, C4 Smart Energy is a pretty smart formula, no pun intended. And Rockstar Focus is, not to knock them, but it's a very simplistic approach. So they had, if I remember correctly, I'm going to actually look it up right now, they had 200 milligrams of caffeine in the can, which isn't bad. It's a nice moderate amount for any time. I'd call that that's my preferred amount for any energy outside of the gym, 150 to 200. And so they got 200 milligrams of caffeine. And then alongside that, they slotted B vitamins, taurine, guarana, typical energy drink features. And then they put lion's mane. So the lion's mane, the mushroom extract lion's mane, which can commonly be found in nootropic supplements for its focus benefits as well as pre-workouts. It's very rarely used in energy drinks, but they put that in there, and that they didn't list the amount, not that I recall. No, I don't think they did. I think it was just sort of, this is a lion's mane drink. And again, lion's mane has the benefits and can be included for the purpose of focus, but they didn't say the amount. And that was the only thing that I think I saw for focus specifically. So it was basically a Rockstar energy with lion's mane for focus. There were 2 flavors. It might have been 3 actually. I'm trying to remember if there was 2 or 3. Oh yeah, 3: orange, pineapple, white peach, and lemon lime. And I hate to knock them, and this is not even Rockstar's fault. Rockstar makes ridiculously good tasting energy drinks. If you've had any of them, specifically the Zeros. I mean, the Zeros are the only one I usually go for. But they have a fruit with like 4 different. Sorry, they have a fruity flavor, like 4 different fruits in there. It's killer. But the Rockstar Focus, I think the energy drink. I think the ingredient that it's used might have let it down here. Lion's mane it's a mushroom extract, very similar to adaptogens when you find them in energy drinks or even just functional beverages. They are herbs. They're not your aminos. They're not your caffeines. They aren't sort of your typical things, and that definitely felt like it took away from the flavor. You got that earthy, herby, like that kind of very similar to like a superfood supplement when it's not flavored that well. It had this little bit of earthy taste on the back end. It wasn't bad. Like if you drank the whole thing, it was the initial taste hits you pretty good. It's not to knock them, but it's when you stop drinking that it kind of got you on the back end. And nothing like a Smart Energy, nothing like Beyond Raw's Charged Lit. I think that one's called. But again, I think it's come down to the ingredients that they were using in this, or the ingredient. That just kind of felt like what it was. The next one we're going to go to is actually no, that one's under Monster. We're going to go to EHP Labs. So these guys pumped out a collaboration at the show. We actually shared it. They sent us the information before we went to the show, and they just said this was going to be at the show to sample, and so we posted it with a nice actual render, not a photograph like we did with a lot of the other ones. And it's a big one. So EHP Labs, has teamed up with Ghostbusters to make 7 special edition products. I think it's 7. I'm going to kick myself if I'm wrong. I think it's 7. Sorry, no, I'm not. Kick myself. There we go. It's 9. So they've teamed up with Ghostbusters, the iconic film franchise. For what is it? I think it's 3 flavors. There is mini Stay Puft Marshmallows based on the notorious Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the first Ghostbusters film. And they did that for a flavor of the plant-based Bliss protein powder. Then they did Proton Plasma and Slimer. Proton Plasma, I believe, is a tropical fruit flavor. And then Slimer is like a very citrusy, electric lime flavor, I could say. They actually likened the Slimer flavor to the OG Ecto Cooler drink from High C back in the day. And so they did those 2 flavors for 4 different supplements. Those supplements are Oxy-Greens, the EHP superfood supplement, the Fat Burner Oxy Shred, Beyond EAA, their amino acid supplement, and the Oxy Shred energy drink. And that was the drink was what we got to try at NACS. They bought both of them, Proton Plasma. I'm just going to get as Proton Plasma and Slimer. And Jesus, that Slimer is ridiculously good. Like, damn good. It reminded me a lot of the Ghost sup. Like if you've ever had the I think it was the Ninja Turtles collab that Ghost did. They had like 4 supplements. I think it was 3 this year, but the flavor they got in that is so damn good. Just probably one of my most favorite supplements to actually have. And I would say that EHP really kind of did similar in its energy drink on that. They just nailed the lime, they nailed the sweetness, nailed the best way I could describe is electric lime. It's just a very punchy, intense lime, and all in an energy drink. So you get all the usual benefits of the Oxy Shred energy drink, which is it has a weight loss portion to it, so it's not just about energy, and it tastes good. And the can is really nice. They've added some raised print on the outside, really pops, and more importantly, maybe not more importantly, but worth mentioning, it glows in the dark. So the Oxy Shred logo glows in the dark, and the Slimer graphic, and on the Proton Plasma flavor, it's a different graphic, but similar amount of area, they glow in the dark. I thought that was a fun little addition that I had actually tried it, and then when I came back the next day, they said, yeah, it glows in the dark, and I had to, because I think the Prime Glow Berry was meant to glow in the dark as well, and I did put it in the dark, and it glowed a little bit even after charging it up, but it wasn't that intense. The Oxy Shred one, I don't know if I'm guessing there's levels to this glow in the dark print. Oxy Shred seemed to have put a lot more effort, because that thing you can actually see Slimer in the dark. It's really cool. And that's launching, I think it's launching either later this month. I think that one's actually launching later this month. I don't know about the supplements, but I know the energy drink is. So yeah, you can check that out on the site. Well worth trying, well worth getting your hands on. It does not disappoint. And we're going to move on to the next story. I'm trying to pick what the next one should be. Sorry, I already know what it's going to be. It's the Celsius Essentials. So when we rolled up to NACS, Celsius has a mammoth booth. I don't think I've been to an expo in the past 5 years where Celsius didn't have a giant booth. They brought the house to the NACS show, and as they do every show, and so they had their regular drink on display, on show, and tucked into the back and a little bit near the front there was this 16-ounce drink, and I just thought it was a bigger version of their flagship drink, their flagship weight loss supporting beverage. It turns out that's not the case. So after further inspection, I found out that this was what I'm going to best describe as their C4 Energy, their Bang, their Rain, their more performance sports-based competitor. In fact, the person that was on staff when I went and asked about it, they said that exact thing. They said this is geared more towards like workout performance exercise. Not that the other one, the 12-ounce original Celsius energy drink, is not, but she was saying this was more so. And so they actually had pretty much very similar set of ingredients to the flagship Celsius drink, but the key difference here is that it is a bigger can. So it's a 16-ounce can, so it's 33% larger, which does bring a lot more caffeine. So it's not like a scaled thing, like you get 150 and there's 12 ounce, so the 16 ounce should have 200. That's not the case. This is 270. So it's right up there, like I said, with the likes of Rain and Bang that have the 300s. C4 doesn't have that, but it's got that higher amount. And then alongside that, it had the metabolic boosting ingredients, or what they've called their Meta Plus blend, green tea, ginger, and guarana. And then I guess they had like a bit of a sports nutrition touch. They put in taurine, theanine, and BCAAs, but not really BCAAs. And this was an interesting thing, because you've obviously seen BCAAs in a lot of energy drinks. Ray's, I'm pretty sure, had some. I know Rain does. And if you're from the supplement world, you know what BCAAs are. They're the 3 all-important amino acids from the 9 EAAs: leucine, isoleucine, valine. Celsius did not put all 3 in their drink. They didn't say that they put BCAAs in there. They actually just said they put aminos in there. But I thought it was very strange that of all the amino acids you throw in there, of all the EAAs you throw in there, you put in 2 of the BCAAs and don't put the 3rd one in. I just thought that was such a strange thing. Like, I didn't ask, like, where's the 3rd one? I probably should have. They just have, I think it's isoleucine and leucine, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so they have isoleucine, leucine, and no valine, I think. I'll double check it. Yeah, no valine. So, I mean, as far as I know, not as far as I know, leucine is the more expensive of the 3. So valine, I don't know. I was just very surprised. Maybe there's a reason behind it, but more importantly, on the ingredients list, so there are some brands out there, even Zoa, I think, says how much BCAAs it has in its drink. I don't think it's a lot. I think theirs was 250 milligrams. So not the 5 grams or 5,000 milligrams we're used to seeing in supplements, but they're in there, and they say the amount. Celsius didn't say the amount, but more importantly, they were further down the list. So the BCAAs, the leucine and isoleucine, they were further down the list. They were lower than the natural flavors in vitamin B6. So there's not much there. So when you look at ingredients on the back of an energy drink, and this goes for supplements as well, it's meant to go from heaviest to lightest. So the heaviest ingredient, or the ingredient that there's the most of in the drink, that's at the top. And then the further you go down the list, it's lighter and lighter and lighter. And so that is the one, like I said, isoleucine, leucine, right near the bottom. So not main ingredients, you could say. Nowhere near the amount that you get of the caffeine or anything like that. So you can check that out on the site. And the last one, we're going to do a big chunk. There's a lot of other things that happen at NACS. We actually did a summary, which is what you're looking at right here, for the show. This was basically, I guess, a roundup we did, just because I think we shared like 19 to 20 stories from the NACS show, or from developments from the NACS show. And so it was a pretty big event, very important, and we highlighted them up all on the story just so you can find them nice and easy. Anyway, so we're going to do the last roundup, because the Monster beverage, as we put in the headline and right behind me, they stole the show. They bought the house. It was crazy. They had, and this was one of the cool things, I'd never been to a NACS show, but you got to see like a whole nother side of brands. Like, they weren't interested in like sampling to everyone. They just had things there because they knew everyone that was there was either like media, buyers, distributors, whatever. So they had really different highlights. So as you go to a consumer show, they'll say, this is for energy, this is for recovery. Red Bull, I'm pretty sure, had a sign up that said they did like 20 billion in sales. Pretty sure that's the amount said, correct me if I'm wrong. And then Monster highlighted that Monster Ultra Zero, their Monster Ultra line, the zero sugar line, that does $2 billion in sales alone. So not the entire Monster line, just that drink, just that series, that does $2 billion, which was ridiculous to see. And I'm sure these things are out there, but it's just cool to see it. And as a consumer myself, it's like, wow, that's no joke. But anyway, they had a lot. And so if you're not familiar with Monster beverage, they are more than just Monster. So they own a lot of different energy drinks. NACS, they got a couple out in Europe. I think Power Play was theirs. I think Power Play is theirs. I could be wrong. They have Nalu, which is another one out in Europe. They have different ones for different parts of the world. And so under their banner at NACS, there was a couple. So firstly, they had a sequel to The Beast Unleashed, which is a beverage that Monster, an alcoholic beverage that Monster launched earlier this year, which was the first alcoholic drink. And they introduced a new version, a spin-off called Nasty Beast, which is very similar to the Beast Unleashed and has very similar branding, but it is a hard tea. So it's basically similar to the Beast Unleashed as an alcoholic beverage with 6% alcohol, same percentage as the Beast Unleashed, but Nasty Beast has like a tea twist, a lemonade tea twist. I'm trying to just rattle off. They had 3 flavors on show. There was green tea, tea and lemonade, and original. So all of them have to follow that same themes, same approach of hard tea, a tea flavor combined with alcohol. Next up on that same little area, they had NACS Zero, which is a zero sugar version of the NACS energy drink, another beverage that the company owns. Not as popular as the Monster brand, but it's been around for a very long time, recognized by the NACS logo, which is the same logo, I believe it's like a license thing, from the NACS that you find in performance vehicles and cars and stuff like that. It's the same thing, same look, but energy drink. So yeah, they introduced a zero sugar version, and I got to try not only did I get to try it, I got to try both because I asked for the zero and he gave me the original. Then I asked for the zero and he let me have both. And so I got to drink them back to back, side by side, and I was blown away. I think it's very similar difference to the original Monster the original green Monster energy drink, and then the no sugar original green Monster energy drink that they dropped earlier this year. I found that the no sugar or zero sugar original green Monster is a little sweeter, very similar taste, not as syrupy, but very similar. And then I kind of got that with this NACS Zero. It's got that signature NACS taste, a little less syrupy, a little sweeter, but I enjoyed it more. I am also accustomed to the zero sugar drink, so yeah, it's hard for me I only drink those one exclusively. So another one that they brought to the Monster booth, I was trying to figure out they had the Monster Rehab beverage, which is a flat, more of I don't know how you describe it. It's intended to be more like a recovery drink, so it's non-carbonated, still got caffeine, comes out with some pretty cool flavors. And so they they were revealing and sampling that one at NACS in a green tea flavor, something that has been available for Monster Rehab before, but it was dropped along the way and they've come back, and this one's pretty on point. I accidentally tried this one, tastes exactly like green tea, but I'm not a green tea person, so I did not like it. And then continuing on the Monster family, they announced a new Monster Oreo Punch flavor for the Monster Juice, which is their fruit juice energy drink. Again, if you're not familiar with the extensive Monster family, there's a lot there. Another one under the Monster banner was the one that I think was we consider Monster Ultra that's our number one energy drink in terms of taste, variety, and availability. Like, that thing just blows away the competition for me. I don't know how many flavors they have now, but there are only like a couple that I like, but I won't go back to like frequently. They're still good, but there's just so much greatness on the menu. And so I'm very biased. I love that thing. That drink is just dynamite. 150 caffeine as well, so it's a nice moderate amount. They announced a new flavor of that at the show called Monster. Here we go. It's a tongue twister. Ultra Fantasty Ruby Red. Now, this is a red grapefruit flavor, and I will admit it does taste eerily similar to the Ultra Rosa. Not quite. It's much more grapefruity, if that makes sense. It seems like a very dedicated grapefruit taste. I wouldn't say the strength is the flavor's as powerful as the Ultra Fiesta, or even their citrus one that they do. I think it's the orange one, the Sunrise. Those things actually pop very well with their flavors. I would liken the grapefruit in the Ultra Fantasy more to what you get in the Ultra Strawberry Dreams. So on point, tastes good, but not overly strong and still incredibly enjoyable. But Ultra Fiesta is one of my favorites, and yeah, I'm partial to things that are super sweet. They're somewhat my preferred level of sweetness. And then they also had a bunch on the table for Reign. So Reign is another energy drink from the Monster family under the Monster umbrella. They bought a few things for their brand actually. There was a new flavor, the first one since Tropical Storm from late last year. It is a sour gummy worms flavor, and they said to me it's intended to be like a handful of gummy worms, not like the white gummy bear flavor that they have, which is specifically meant to taste like a white gummy bear. This is sort of just a handful of candy, and it does very much taste like that. And then they had two new ones for the Reign Storm drink, which is the cleaner, I guess your more Celsius style energy drink, white branding, very different. They promote it heavily as like a clean energy drink. It's relies on natural caffeine for its benefits, and yeah, they announced they bought two new flavors of that. One was citrus zest, I think it was guava strawberry. I think it was guava strawberry. So those two were on show, and yeah, so the Reign things, from what I was told, would come in January, and then the rest of the Monster innovations were planned for February. Don't hold me to that though. They said things in passing, I wasn't really writing them down, I was just going off memory. But yeah, again, as I said in our story on the website, Monster really stole the show. Anytime you get a new flavor of Monster Ultra, and it took off on social, everybody loves seeing new innovations on something as big and mainstream as an energy drink, and seeing Ultra Fantasy, and that can, you couldn't miss it. It's a triple color can as well, so it's different to any of the other Monster Ultra flavors. And as we posted this week, I think actually, that they intended this to be more impactful. They wanted this to stand out, not just on the shelf compared to everybody, but next to other Monster Ultra drinks, which I thought was interesting. So it's got a triple color. There's a red on the left, pink down the middle, and like a blue on the right. So it's not your typical Fiesta, which is like a teal or turquoise. Then you've got the purple, the grape, which is just purple. So it's not a single color. And then it still has that sweet little touchy artwork around the outside. So very cool, very impressive showing for Monster. Definitely going to be back there next year, so you can count on seeing more of this again in about a year's time. I believe it's not in the same place, so they rotate. And yeah, so any action, anything that we mentioned on this show, shoot over to Stacked, check it out. In fact, anybody who wants to show support, just literally check out the site every single day. Go to the site, bookmark it, accept notifications, visit it once, twice a day, send it to your mom, send it to your dad, send it to your sister, send it to your brother. That's all the support that I ask for. We are trying to give the news and keep everyone updated on every brand we can in the world of supplements, energy drinks, and functional foods. And so this was really cool to do for the NACS show and show everybody what was there. And I appreciate you for following. Apologies on this episode going up a bit late. I'm going to endeavor to get next week's one up much faster. But as always, thank you for listening, and look forward to having you back next time.